What up, world? This is your girl, Nina Marie.
And this is your boy, Coach Reed.
And you're listening. You're watching. Yeah, we're watching and listening. Okay. Take two. What up, world? This is your girl, Nina Marie.
And this is your boy, Coach Reed.
And you're watching 828 Elite Podcast.
Yo, what's up? Welcome, 828 listeners. We have a special opportunity today to talk about some business and how development can go inside of 828, especially in the Asheville area. We are amazed about how much we can do, especially from 2026 and beyond, post-hurricane, everything. So I definitely want you to tune in. I'm happy that you're here. And of course, it's your boy, Coach Reed, and I'm with the beautiful Nina Ireland.
Yes. Thank you. And thank you. Welcome to Marcus Kirkman. Thank you for being here. And so we see that you're a North Carolina native coming from Sanford. Tell us a little bit more about you and your journey to Asheville and what you're into.
Really appreciate it. I'm excited to be here with you both. Thank you for the invitation. I am from a really small town, Sanford, North Carolina. If you've never heard of it before, it's between Raleigh and Fayetteville. Small country town. I wouldn't take anything for it.
Okay.
Gave me my foundation. I came from a large family with 6 of us.
Okay.
3 boys, 3 girls. So I know what it's like to struggle. But in that struggle, it taught me so much about family and community. And leaning on one another. And it's my foundation. And it's with me every day in how I show up and serve.
I could definitely hear it in your voice, though. Like, the first time I got to meet you, for some reason, I'm expecting, you never know what you're going to expect when you're going downtown to go meet somebody.
Right.
But as soon as I met you, man, it's almost like I knew you. You know what I mean? You just have that natural ability to make people feel welcome.
Right.
And I guess that's where that upcoming comes from, is that part of Sanford and your family and being a part of probably a small knit town, some similar to Asheville, I'm sure.
That's right.
In some capacities, for sure.
That's right. I just want to echo really quick to that point about the welcoming.
Yeah.
Really, really large family on my mother's side, maternal side of the family. My grandmother and my grandfather are my heroes.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
But their home was welcome.
Yeah.
It was that place in the community everybody could go. And that lives inside of me.
Okay.
And that's how I want to show up.
That's
Let's
awesome.
create those spaces of welcome.
Shout out to your grandparents.
Yeah,
Shout
out.
out. That's right. The ancestors now.
I understand.
But they walk with me.
Yes.
I understand.
Sure.
That's
Exactly.
amazing.
So tell us a little bit about your career. And I know that you were in the Navy.
That's right.
And you've been a part of the Community and Economic Development Impact in Western North Carolina, Senior Chief Petty Officer of the United States Navy. So tell us a little bit about your career and what you've done in order to lead you to, and I'm sorry, I did not explain that you are a part of the Community Economic Development and Business Inclusion Manager.
That's a mouthful.
That's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful.
So
How do you say when somebody asks you, what do you do? What is the simpler way of saying it?
I serve.
That's a good one.
I serve, right?
That's understandable right there.
Not big in the titles, but it has been and it continues to be a remarkable journey. And this is what I mean by that. In elementary school, middle school, I figured I either wanted to be a medical doctor to help people, or I wanted to be an architectural engineer to help build communities. That was my dream, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my senior year in high school, my mother was going through a really difficult divorce. Better part of her life, she was a single mother. So I'm not going to put that burden on my mother. So I ended up going to the Navy.
Oh, wow.
My uncle was my recruiter It was
Okay.
not my first choice. I
Okay.
was mad at the world, to be quite honest, because I worked so hard in school, did really well academically, and I hated the Navy. I fought the Navy the
Wow.
first 4 years.
Wow.
I was Antoine Fisher. I kid you not.
Oh,
That
really?
when that movie came out,
That
I
was
said,
you.
"That's me,
Right.
right there."
He's
Didn't
me.
wanna
I'm
be
him.
there.
Yeah.
For sure. And I had my children really early on. My daughter when I was about 19.
Yeah.
Okay.
My son right before I turned 21.
Oh wow. Okay.
Everything shifted then.
Right.
And I focused on them. Long story short, turned into an incredible career.
So you stayed in the Navy.
I stayed in the Navy.
Okay.
If you've ever seen the movie Men of Honor with Cuba Gooding Jr.,
Okay,
the highest you can go is Master Chief, which is E9. I retired as a senior chief, and I wouldn't take anything for it.
Awesome.
It gave me my focus, my leadership skills.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
And now look, the Navy. Now look, so I knew some people that went to the Navy. I knew some people that could drive the ships. Like they were like that high, I guess. I don't know if that was high or not. But I was always nervous about the Navy. See, I'm an Air Force guy. I never went to the Air Force, but if I was going,
That's where you.
that's where I was going, Air Force. Because they told me that's the last ones that go. Right?
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's what I heard. But that's not the point of my story. The point of I wanted to ask you, were you nervous about like submarines? Did you ever get into submarines?
I never got into subs.
Okay, because
Okay.
I was my scariest point of the Navy. I'm like, I'm not getting in a sub. The only
Right.
sub I'm getting into is Subway.
So much respect to
Okay,
the
thank you.
submariners
Yes.
because
Yeah.
that's an enclosed space and they stay underwater submerged for
Yes.
quite some time.
I know.
So much respect.
Yeah.
It's one thing to be on the water.
That's
It's another
right.
thing to
You
be
know what?
under the water.
They wouldn't even let us actually. Now, don't they? Don't you got to be a certain size?
You
Don't
gotta
you?
be sure that's exactly right. So it would be a challenge.
It would be a challenge for us
For
to be,
me to-
for
to
us
get
to.
on that.
Okay,
That's
cool.
right.
Well, I'm okay with that challenge.
Yeah.
I'm okay with failing that challenge. But that's amazing. So thank you for your service, number one.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely. And thank you for sharing that because not too many people that we know that work in the city that served
Right.
in multiple capacities
Right.
prior to serving now, like you do now. So,
Well, now that you mention it, I have to shout out my uncle because he was in the Navy. So
Shout out
yeah,
to your
Okay.
I don't know if y'all would have known each other, but he's at Virginia Beach. So
Oh, yeah,
that
Virginia
could have been
Beach.
two totally different, and that's where I think he was always kind of stationed and just stayed.
Right
So
on.
yeah, he's in the Navy as well. Now I don't think he actually did like any kind of fighting as well, but he was part of the crew, so that was his retirement.
now I
for
see
sure.
Nina going to the Army or the Marines.
No, I'm no.
I know. I can
because
see
I'm not
you
a
doing that
swimmer,
'cause I
so
see you-
As long as the Marines sound like you got to be able to do it all: fly, swim.
But look,
all
if you
of it.
take your career,
Yeah.
you do it all.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I can see you.
in real life, I'm a Marine,
But, yeah,
in the
that's
Army,
amazing.
folks, I would definitely do
Okay.
flying as well, because
You're in
now
Air
we
Force?
now we have drones. You might not even need to get in there,
Ooh.
but also I thought that if all things fail, I just need to know how to fly a plane and get up out of here.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
understandable.
I can see Marines.
like, yeah.
Hey,
I
but
can
I-
see Marine.
I can see Marine though. I can see you get
Marine.
hoorah. Is that what it hoorah?
That's a hoorah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I could definitely.
Say hoorah real quick.
No. Don't put me on the spot.
Okay. Anyway, I'm sorry. I digress.
I don't want to disrespect them either. You know.
Yeah,
what I'm
I
saying?
know.
Like
I mean, hoorah. I mean, that's just a saying.
it is.
Yeah, you good.
It's
You-
a mindset.
Yeah, it's a mindset.
Okay.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
It's the mindset.
Okay.
And
I
can
like
see
that. Okay.
you have that focus when you dialed in.
Yeah.
You dialed in.
Definitely. I can agree with that.
But yeah, so the Navy, you've been there. You were one of the higher ranks before getting out. Had kids.
Right.
That's what we like. So follow us more towards your career and how you got to Asheville. And,
Right.
You know what? That I really now I know that I was called, divinely called to Asheville.
that's okay.
So I was living in Charlotte. Lived in Charlotte for about 25 years.
Okay.
Okay.
And I worked at AT&T for almost 18 years. I was a network analyst.
Okay.
Something pretty incredible happened. It was a great paying job, great benefits. I worked a night shift, and I did it because my kids were small. I didn't want to miss anything in their life. And the last 5 years walking into that building, I don't know if y'all have ever felt this when you're working for somebody else, but it felt like my soul was dying. I said, this is not it.
Wow,
The
I've
money's
been there.
good.
I've been there.
I'm good, but this ain't it.
Right.
And I walked away. After 18 years, I walked away from it. And I knew that what I wanted to do had everything to do with people and building communities.
Okay.
So I studied I studied mindfulness and meditation for like a year.
Oh, wow.
Became a certified mindfulness teacher. I studied holistic medicine. I became a certified professional coach. Began working with people and organizations to help put the pieces back together. And during the pandemic, my wife and I were living downtown. And I came in one evening and she said, "Baby, you hear that outside?" I said, "Sweetheart, I have no idea what you're talking about." She said, "That's my point. It's peaceful and quiet." I said, "You were right." We made a trip up to Asheville. Everything was still shut down. And rode around, and within an hour, we looked at each other with no prior conversation and said, "This is what we've been looking for."
Wow.
And we made that decision. It took us a year to get here. And I had no plans on coming on board with the city. I was continuing to grow my coaching and consulting firm across the nation. I was already doing speaking engagements. Heard about the city and the important work with the Office of Equity and Inclusion. Put my name in the hat, became the training consultant for the first 2.5 years, training the city staff, council, our boards on equity and inclusion and what it looks like. And just very meaningful work. Didn't even feel like work. It was purpose driven.
Right.
And that has led me into community economic development, working with our minority women-owned businesses and those businesses who are underinvested in.
Okay.
So it has been a remarkable and continues to be a remarkable journey.
That's amazing.
I mean,
That's amazing.
that is like, I don't know if that's a pun, but like mind blowing to like to get out and just kind of totally shift from marketing and then to go into that, to even see that. Like, yeah, I mean, it definitely feels like you've been led and you've been following the footsteps that you're, the path that's being carved out for you.
I want to
So,
know what part of the town were you in when you said you and your wife was like, "This is here."
Yeah.
Were
Where was
y'all?
that at?
Yeah, that's a really
I wonder, 'cause that,
important piece.
you know-
So
You said it was during COVID.
and it was during COVID. So this was June of 2020.
Okay.
And
Fresh COVID.
fresh COVID.
Yeah.
And for you ain't never lied, fresh COVID.
Fresh COVID. Like, we're all in the house.
We were literally sitting in the hotel and we both had our laptops and we started looking at houses. And
Yeah.
I said, "Baby, you see what I see? Because this has some similarities to Charlotte."
Okay.
So we jumped in the car and we were driving over near UNC Asheville.
Okay.
And it was just it was a small town feel. It was peaceful. It was quiet.
Yeah.
It was quaint. And we were living downtown Charlotte, so we got the noise, we got the activity.
Gotcha.
We didn't want that anymore. We
I
wanted some
respect
chill.
that. I respect that.
Yeah, we wanted some chill. And this is home, without a shadow of a doubt. We bought a home out in Candler a few years ago, so this is home.
That's awesome.
That is. I would say the same thing. Like, my dad felt the same way when he came here from Shaw. He was from Mobile, Alabama, and I said, "Dad, why did you choose
Mobile.
here?" And he was like, "I was like, out of all places, your family migrated to Philadelphia. Why did you choose Asheville?" And he said, "I fell in love with the mountains, and I couldn't leave." And he found communities and everything. At that time, there was a vibrant Black business on the block area from Eagle Market Street. He had a store on Eagle Market Street with a couple of friends.
That's what's up.
So he just couldn't leave it. And so he found my mom, who was already from here. But when I grew up, and now that I've traveled, every time I come back to Asheville, I'm like, I'm home. Like, I have not had that experience of jumping in the car and going to another place and saying, this feels like home. I come back here and I'm like, this feels like home. So I can definitely agree with that. Tell us about some of your mentors or influences that I know your grandparents were highly one of them, but throughout your career and life outside of that.
Yeah, I'm smiling. I am smiling. When I tell y'all I was Antoine Fisher in the Navy, I truly was. But it took me years later in my own work and development to realize that I was angry at the world. So I was fighting a lot I literally was fighting like every weekend in the Navy. And I ended up, I was a really competitive, good basketball player. And I'm not, I was really that dude.
Okay.
Right.
And it's funny how God will and divine will get your attention.
Oh,
I ended
man.
up having an unexpected surgery that
Oh,
threw
man.
off
Wow.
everything. I was about to go play for the All-Navy team. All of that to say I was on medical hold for like a year. And the sister that I went to go work for, she was my supervisor. And I was sitting in Sanford. I went home for the weekend. Now, mind you, I am in the United States Navy. I'm sitting in Sanford, and I said, you know what? I'm not going into work tomorrow. I'm just going to call them and just take the day off. So I called, and she answered the phone. And she said, where are you? And I told her. She started, tell you what, I'm going to give you 4 hours to get here. It was about 3.5 hours. She said, I'm going to give you 4 hours. And when you get here, you report to this quarterdeck and you ask for me. I said, oh, she for real.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen, and I could tell she was a sister. I hadn't seen someone in leadership look like me who held me accountable.
Okay.
I jumped in my little Honda Accord. I flew back to Charleston, South Carolina. And when I got there, she wasn't even there.
Oh, wow.
She left a message. She said, tell him to go get some rest. I'll see him in the morning. I said, she for real. I'm dealing with the real thing. Her name is Phyllis Boyd, and she changed my life.
Okay.
I was on a path of destruction, and she looked at me and she said, you're trying to be something that you're not. You're better than this. And before you leave, you're going to know it. And I got a chance to work with her. And she poured into me, and I saw what leadership that looks like me looks like.
Right.
And I took pride in my career, and then I began to give that to others. So she was a major turning point in my life.
Shout out to Phyllis Boyd.
Shout out to Phyllis.
That is awesome. Thank you for people like you and in general, all the Phyllis Boyds out there that,
Right.
pour into people in their jobs and
That's amazing, man.
that's a ripple effect because that's how we got you here.
She told you to get in the car.
She told me to get the call.
Said you got 3 hours.
That's right.
4.
4.
4
It's
hours.
only 3.5
that's right.
hours
You got
away.
4 hours, but you got 3 hours away. And like, I mean, like that is amazing to even think about because I'm like, somebody called me to come 3 hours away. You got 4 hours to get here. Like,
And you was trying to call out sick.
and I'm like,
for
you got
pretend.
gas money? Like something's gonna be in the middle of that me getting
This
there.
is his job.
That's
He
right.
was
Yeah.
he wasn't supposed to be 3 hours
That's
away.
right.
Yeah.
That's exactly
That's
right.
amazing though, man. Because like I said, I like not too many people would have taken that initiative to actually get off that couch or whatever you were doing. To be like, you know what, I'm gonna take this 3 hour drive and I'm gonna get down here, and then to find out she's not there,
She wasn't
that would have shot me. I'm like, wait a minute.
I'm driving 3 hours back.
I know what 3 hours here, that she ain't here, but she left a message. That's cool though. That's cool.
Thankful for that message.
Yeah, and certain, and I guess that's what that divine thing is. Like, when they talk about how God gives you like these choices, these free will. You know what I'm saying? And you have the free will to choose a path.
Right.
But
And
either
the
or.
people.
And the people
And
too.
we'll put the people in your path.
There you go.
If we're listening and if we're paying attention,
Yeah.
we'll realize this is for me.
Yeah.
This is a
Right.
gift.
That's
Right.
amazing though. That's amazing. Without you taking that 3 hour drive, you'll never be in Asheville.
Without a shadow of doubt. I might not even be allowed to be quiet.
You know how crazy those
that's
little
true.
choices
That's true.
can make. That's amazing. Thank you for that. That's a statement in itself, especially for our young youth that listen to us.
Right.
Like those
Right.
little moments matter. The little moments.
And
too.
doing it when it doesn't make sense. Like it didn't make sense to you at that moment, but you did it anyway.
That's
Like
a-
you like
that's
following
deep.
that positive hunch or that inclination, that intuition in your soul, like I don't want to do this and I'm fighting it, but I'm doing it anyway. That is that higher power.
That is
because
higher power.
if we want to, if we go into our flesh, you wouldn't have done it. So that was that higher power that moved you.
If I could share this 30 seconds
Go ahead.
to
do
what
your
you all
thing.
have pointed out. So whenever you make chief in the Navy, it's a big deal. It's the only branch that we acknowledge you make in East 7 at Chief Petty Officer. So all of that to say, I had made chief, and I went to a conference in Tennessee, and I go to check in at this conference, right? I check in, and I'm talking, and I heard somebody say, I recognize that voice. And when I turn around, standing there in front of me was Phyllis Bowie,
Wow.
who I hadn't seen since I was a young Thundercat. And she literally started crying and said, I knew it was always in you.
Right.
And she was a chief herself. So,
Okay,
yeah, it
yes.
was amazing.
That's
I'm glad y'all had that full circle moment.
We had that moment.
Yes. So it wasn't at your inaugural ceremony for chief, was it? Okay.
No, it was
just
after
at a
that.
conference. Okay.
Just at a conference. Yeah.
So we're going to dive into your actual career, and
Okay.
one reason why we brought you on, because of the positive things you're doing in the 828 area, specifically here for the city of Asheville. So again, that long title of economic development, inclusion, business. Please give us the rundown on what it is that you specifically do and serve to the Asheville residents here and community.
I really appreciate that question. So the department is community economic development.
Okay.
And what I would love for our audience to take away with that piece is the community piece.
Right.
Because for me, that's what it's all about. The actual title is Business Inclusion Manager.
Okay.
And I do exactly what it says.
Right.
To include those businesses who are underrepresented, underinvested, to make sure that they're able to compete for contracts with the city of Asheville or any business market they want to get into.
Right.
So I get a chance to work with minority women-owned and underrepresented businesses by learning about what their business needs are. It doesn't matter what the business is. Whatever their business model is, what they're looking to do, start connecting them to resources, community partners.
Right.
To actually begin to build out their vision and build out their business. So that's what I get a chance to do
Awesome.
every day.
That's awesome.
Serve in that way.
That's awesome. So I'm glad you said that, because I know when we talked previously, and I've been to some seminars that you've done yourself in Asheville, I always think about the contracts pieces. But you just mentioned something about just anything that they want to get into.
Right.
I think that's something that I think that might have been the first time I actually hear you say it, but it really opens my mind of things, of possibilities of, it doesn't necessarily have to be contracts, correct? It could be any
That's
other
right.
business
That's exactly
concepts that they want to get into that you can support with, right?
That's exactly
Okay.
right.
Okay.
And to give our audience some context, so when I first came into the office in April 2024, and I set up the outreach event, I wanted to learn about all of our businesses that were here, not just in the four main areas, and I know we're going to talk about that with the city of Asheville, but if you have a business here in the 828, or you have a business idea, I want to know who you are. I want you to know who I am. I want to start offering support and connections and relationship to build out your business.
Well, that makes sense too, because business inclusion is not just about, the contracts that
That's
the
right.
city can bid off. It's about all businesses. And like you said, you need to know all of them in case if something comes up and we're like, that's a very specialty subject, but you know that person who to call, that resource and who to call. So can you kind of better dive into like, okay, there's the city side of business contracts and bidding, and then there's this side that I can help you just in general and connect you to resources.
Right on.
What we learned when we talked to you last year and meeting you is that there's kind of more of a specific niche when it comes to the bidding part. So can you kind of go into more about that and some of the successes that has happened around women and minority-owned businesses recently?
That is a really great segue. A great segue. So with the city of Asheville, there are four main areas that we spend our money.
Okay.
And the greatest opportunity is in construction.
Right.
The majority of our projects that you see on our bid page are construction. Right after construction is professional services, which includes architects, engineers, surveyors at risk, things like that.
Okay.
Especially really high level.
But kind of connects back into contracting as well.
It absolutely does.
Right.
Connects back into construction.
Construction,
Right. Yeah.
And
Construction.
then we have general services, which is, it can be anything from landscaping to it could be counseling,
Okay.
consulting firms, and then we have tangible goods. So those are the four main contracting opportunities with the city of Asheville. Now, what's really important for our audience to know is this. we being the city of Asheville, conducted a disparity study, the second disparity study, in October of 2023.
Okay.
And out of that disparity study, what we did is we looked at the ways that we spend our money in our contracts to say, which demographics have we not done a good job in spending money with and contracting with? So for our general service contracts and our construction contracts, we have an MWB aspirational goal that we assign for those two different types to address the disparities with our minority and women-owned businesses.
Right.
So all contracts that are over $30,000 are the ones that you see advertised on our website. Okay.
Okay.
And as long as they don't have state or federal funds attached to those contracts, then we will have an MWBE participation goal attached to our general service and construction contracts.
Right.
If they have state or federal funds, we don't apply our local policy because the state and the federal government have their own MWBE goals attached to that.
Okay.
Right.
So that is with projects over $30,000. But you brought up something earlier when we were talking. Our project managers are making decisions, and our departments have needs all the time. And we have about 17 different departments. So for those projects that are under $30,000 that are not advertised on the website, that's when the project managers will reach out and say, hey, Marcus, do you know any businesses who are in this area? It could be catering.
Right.
They could say, hey, our department is going to have an event. Do you know any MWBE caterers out there? Now,
Right.
you won't see that advertised, but that's where I do a lot of work in building relationship with our colleagues, departments, and say, I know businesses out here in the 828 who do this, who are ready, willing, and available to do this work.
Right.
So relationship building is really key. Me building relationship with our business owners, me building relationship internally so
Right.
we can make those connections.
Oh, awesome. So again, he just hit on it. So even if it's not something in construction or construction related, make sure he still knows about you and your business.
That's right.
Because some of the jobs are not advertised. So I'm glad that you hit on that for sure. Is there anything that you
No,
want to
I'm just blown away, man, because like that is a
every time we talk to you.
yeah.
we
Every
learning
time we talk
something
to
new.
you, we learn something. We even said it before we got up here. It was like, you ready to learn something new? 'Cause
Yeah,
Marcus coming.
like-
But seriously, like when we're talking about the area of 828, when we're talking about Asheville specifically too, around black-owned businesses and minority-owned businesses and women-owned businesses, I have to sometimes take a step back and look around, and look at the lay of the land. It's not too many of us are out there or getting these contracts or having these opportunities. So it's great that we have somebody in the inside, meaning just a person that is actually intentional about, making sure that minority-owned, women-owned businesses are having at least a foot in the race.
That's
Right.
right.
Instead of just watching on the side,
That's
of
exactly
those
right.
races. So,
That's exactly
like it's always to be said, even if you're in the race, you might not always win those contracts, but at least you have the opportunity now to actually have that foot in the race and know you're in that race.
That's exactly right.
So I think that's something to be said too, because there's so many projects that's been in Asheville specifically, but even around 828 that we have yet to really. I think me personally, I'm just scratching the surface of what contracts and how we can implement that with our own small businesses.
Right.
So it's amazing to kind of get that content out there for people who are maybe on the couch just waiting for opportunities.
Right.
Don't know where to start.
Right.
Where to go? Because I've been to the website.
Yeah.
It ain't easy.
The website is funny.
It ain't easy, but for those who are patient like myself, I'll walk away from my computer and come right back to it to figure it out. But it's those moments where we know, hey, we got a Marcus Kirkman.
Right. Exactly.
We can go to him.
Right.
We got somebody that will go in there and help us and find something. And let me tell you something. With my camera, here we go. Let me tell you something. If Marcus Kirkman said he's going to send you an email,
He's gonna send.
He gonna send you some emails. Look, I haven't had this many
Get
emails.
on the email list. If
I
you don't do
almost
nothing
I
else.
almost said, look, man, I need a paycheck because I've been reading your emails like I work for you.
When I tell you, I definitely
But
skim them.
it's a lot of information.
like,
He does not hold back. It's
No.
like opening.
No gatekeeping.
No gatekeeping. There's not even a gate there. It's a bush. You can jump right over it. But it's amazing
bush.
what you do and the information that you shoot out. Because, like I said,
For sure.
I read them, and I look at them. Sometimes I think you sent one by accident. you was like, I'm sorry for that last email.
I did.
I told you, I read them.
Did.
I was like laughing because I'm like, this man done sent everything.
Sent everything.
I was
Here's
like,
the budget for.
I'm talking about
my bad, y'all.
he just sent everybody everything. So, but that's how good he is because he
Seriously.
makes sure that you get the information you need, and he doesn't hold anything back. And I almost feel like he does it as soon as it hits his table,
Right.
because that's how important the information is. And if you're getting it today, it's probably too late. So that's why it's important
Yeah.
that you are in your position in the information that you push out because. Like I said, man, I can only imagine how many years have passed by because I'm a generational kid here. You know, I went off to college, but I come back. You know,
Right.
and it's not really heard of a lot of us that go off and come back because of those lack of opportunities and what you mentioned earlier in the conversation. In the Navy, you didn't see too many people in leadership like us, right? So you can only imagine how it looked for me growing up in a. And I like to think we are diverse. Asheville is a little small bubble of diversity, but it's not as diverse when it comes to leadership. And so when I was growing up, that was one of my things of saying, okay, I have my father. He owns his own business, you know, and then I have a cousin who owns Hart's Funeral Home.
Right.
You know, and so I had some people I can look up to, but it wasn't too many people outside of family that I felt like I could look up to. And I think that I appreciate that opportunity to say, hey, we have opportunity now to make generational change when it comes to leadership, business-owned leadership. I mean, just making a move. And that's why important you are to our community to make sure this information gets out. So
I really appreciate you sharing that, and we good on time. We good
Okay.
on time. Just
Okay,
want
cool.
you-
Okay,
All right,
good. 'Cause I was about to say I don't want to take.
Hey, I was about to
No,
say,
we
y'all,
good.
look,
Good
we
on time.
ain't gonna hold him. I promise you.
No, we
Them
good on
emails
time.
are coming. The
We gotta
emails
get
are
him back.
coming.
We
He's
gotta
over
get
here,
him back
but
where he at.
Two really quick things. And Nina, you touched on this. So when Helene hit, we didn't know just how devastating that storm would be.
Right.
And there were several minority women-owned businesses that we had already established a relationship with. None of them had ever done emergency management work before, but they were ready, they were willing, they were available, there was a relationship. So when the need popped up for debris removal, and I saw the Army Corps of Engineers coming in, I saw FEMA, I was sitting at the table, I was part of the emergency team. I said, it's imperative that our minority women-owned and local businesses get the opportunity to perform debris removal and be a part of this.
Right.
And we had about 11 or 12 right here who jumped in the game and got out there and showed exactly what we can do when provided the opportunity to show what we can do.
Awesome.
So,
That is beautiful. And I'm glad you hit on that because I want to know, and I want our audience to know, for the small businesses that are out there or looking to get involved with you guys, what do they need to come with? How do they qualify to put the bid in? Like, I got a business, I got an LLC, you know, but is that just enough? What are the criteria that you guys are usually looking for at the city? And I want to back up a second. I want to say that the city does really well at being intentional. And what we have to do now as residents is be ready. Because the opportunities are here, but are we ready? So what do we have to do as women, minority-owned businesses out here to be ready? to even get our foot in the door with the city because we do have a dump truck in our backyard, or we're thinking about starting the asphalt business, or we want to become a general contractor. What do we have to do in order to come to the door and be ready to put a bid in at the city level?
Right on. Really appreciate that question. So, regardless of the business that you're in, when you're looking to do business with the city of Asheville, we don't require you to have a business license to have a relationship with the city of Asheville.
Okay.
Now, with regards to the state of North Carolina, depending on what your business is, there may be requirements in order for you to have an established business with the state of North Carolina. But with the city of Asheville, everyone goes through the same process to become a registered vendor first. The finance department handles that. It typically takes about 3 to 5 days. You get assigned a vendor number.
Okay.
You then live in our database as a registered business with the city of Asheville. If you are a minority or woman-owned business and you want to become MWB certified, that's one of my responsibilities while I process those applications. What that means is that a minority or a woman-owned business owns 51%
Right.
of that particular business to be MWB certified.
Right.
Now, what's really important for our audience to know and the HOA to know, defined by the state of North Carolina, when we say MWBE, that stands for minority or woman-owned business enterprise.
Right.
Minority, African American, Black, Hispanic, Latinx, Native American, Asian American, Hawaiian.
Right.
The W is for women-owned, but that is woman-owned businesses who are not minorities. Translation, those are for white women-owned businesses. That's what the women-owned business is for.
Okay.
So for our women who are minorities in the different categories, they will fall under the minority portion of the MWBE.
Okay.
That's important to know.
I did not know that. I just assumed women was all women, but then minority was like women and minority. So
I
I'm
thought
glad
the
you.
same thing
Yeah.
until I got into the office and I learned.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so like now the contracts for like construction or anything like that, would you have to be ready? Taxes, different things like that. You got to show that you can actually do the job. So now, how do you come prepared for something like a bid?
Such a great question. So I'm going to break this down because it's important. I'm going to look into the camera too. This is really important to know. Anytime you go to our website, you're going to see the contracts advertised one of 3 ways. It's either going to be a bid, the bid is the lowest, RFP is in the middle, or it's going to be an RFQ. If you see a bid advertisement out there, what that means is we as the city of Asheville, we are looking for the lowest bidder who is responsive. And what responsive means is that all of the documents that we require for you to include with that bid, that you submit them on time and they're correct, and that you're responsible. You're able to show some level of proof that you've done the work before. Okay. But the key point with the bid is we want the cheapest. We want the
Understood.
cheapest, right? When you get to the RFP, which stands for request for proposal, cost is a factor, but that project manager may say, we'd love to see your last 3 projects. So we'd like to get some of your references. They have that latitude with the RFP. With the RFQ, we don't care how much you're going to charge us. We want the best of the best. So when you talk about preparation, taking a look and say, is this a bid? Is it an RFP? Or is it an RFQ?
Understood.
RFQ is the highest, so you want to make sure all your ducks are in a row.
Right.
You want to show that I truly am the best at what I do. I've got a portfolio of work. Other
Right.
people can speak for me. But a bid is the cheapest. Get your documents on time, and you can say, I can stand up and do this work.
What are some of the issues that we're having when we come to the door? Like, what are some of the things that kind of get us turned down?
That's a good question.
That is a really, really, really important and great question. So, some of the challenges, many of the challenges that I see are the bidding prices. The bidding prices. And this is so important. With the bid, again, we're looking for the cheapest bidder.
Right.
If you are a business owner and you don't know what's happening in your market, and what I mean by you not knowing what's happening in your market, meaning you're not in the spaces, understanding what's that range, what's that value, what's the going right,
What's inflating?
what's inflating,
Right.
right?
That's imperative to, how much is the asphalt? How much
That's
is the
exactly
concrete?
right.
Yeah.
You got to stay in close proximity to who your competition is. You got to know what's happening in the market. You have to know your market because whatever you put down on that piece of paper for your bid, it's a standing deal.
Right.
You may miss an opportunity by $1,000. Right now, knowing your market, number one, but secondly, what's really important is that if you're not in the game committing, if you're not staying in proximity and building your business, what can happen is other businesses can continue to be in there and then they begin to scale up their business. They can get to a point where they can offer it at a cheaper price
Right.
because they're committed to the game.
Yeah.
You got to be all in. You got to be committed. You got to stay in close proximity so you can expand and elevate your business and get to the point where you can offer those services at a lower price.
Right.
And sometimes we're missing out because we hadn't been able to scale.
Right.
But not being able to scale is not just a factor of somebody else always getting it. We have to be in the game. We've got to be in those spaces, learning, knowing what's happening in our market, so that we can help grow our business.
Right.
And stay engaged with me where I can connect you to people and opportunities to help scale up your business.
One thing you said out that pointed out to me is a part of it is them asking for prior references. So making sure that you get your skin in the game and actually doing the work so you can actually have the references or the work to show like I did it and finished it. So here's the finished product.
And if I may add one other piece, because you just triggered something for me. My 828 family community, please know the value of partnership. If I'm doing a thing, you're doing a thing, and you're doing a thing, we all may be interested in that same thing.
Right.
But when I tell you, when the three of us put our resources together, and to be quite honest, we put the ego to the side, and we do our own self-work to say the bigger vision is how do we move the needle? That's how we can start moving the needle.
Think river, not pie. Somebody said that to me because I was always like, the pie is big enough. The pie is big enough. But as long as the river has water in it and it's flowing, everybody has a chance to drink and be satisfied, to be filled. So yeah, I definitely, especially as we're starting out, and to keep the money local and to keep the economy local, or the bidding local, and the resources local, so we can stay here, so we can work here, so we can live here. It might take us to get into those partnerships and to get the work done, to be able to say like, yeah, I can call them back. And then, or I can call, that group back, and I know that they're going to get the work done right. So yeah, thank you for saying that. That was wonderfully said, beautifully said.
No, I'm just amazed.
Sure.
I'm just I'm just kind of
He's taking notes over here.
I'm taking mad notes because like I said, because I too dabble in business. I am an entrepreneur, and so these are things that I don't hear on a regular basis, right? As much as I like to think I'm ears to the ground, there's certain things that are not being said so close to the ground. And so you have to elevate yourself enough till you can start hearing some wise words like that. But I'm just amazed because I personally, so I'm one of those guys, I don't like to have a specific niche. I like to be diversified in my portfolio of business because number one, you don't know when that business might not be relevant anymore. Or, so you want to kind of balance yourself in ways where you always have growth, you always have scalability, and then you never know when, one of them might actually go away. So you got to be very diverse in your portfolio. But that's my thing too is if I have if I want to get into real estate, if I want to start purchasing land and building affordable housing and things like that, how can I be a part of what you do, and how can we build those connections? Because ultimately, you know, me myself, and this is just me speaking, you know, personally, I want to be one of those developers who can be able to bring affordable housing, true affordable housing, to our city, but as a person of development and also an investor. So how do I also get those opportunities, fundings that come from the city to help me, support me as a Black-owned business to be able to do that and not have to outsource so many businesses that come from Florida, Georgia, that can have the means, but also reap the benefits of our city and not necessarily give back into our city.
Right on, right on. First of all, I appreciate your passion
Yeah.
for being a developer and speaking to that need in 828. So when we think about housing development,
Yeah.
one of the first things that I would offer to you is to think about who are those community partners, who are those pillars in the community that carry that same either responsibility
Right.
or that same passion.
Right.
City, county, certainly, Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
So anytime that you hear anything with housing, that there's a meeting or there's some movement or there's a project, you need to be in those spaces. You need to be connected to those community pillars who are doing the housing and development work, because then you start to hear about the decisions being made.
Right.
But then there's somebody else and there's another developer in that space.
Right.
And you get a chance to know, okay, there are other people in this market. I recommend that. I would also highly recommend you to take a look at what's happening at the state level with development across the state
Right.
of North Carolina.
Right.
Because that is going to be incredibly insightful and informative what's happening at the state level, because that's going to inform what's happening development-wise here in Asheville.
Oh, wow.
That's a great suggestion. That's a
And I just want to offer one other thing. When I was offering to our audience to about partnership and the value of partnership.
Yeah, there you go.
That can sound really cliche-ish. It can sound kind of up here. But if you want to see what it really looks like and what it really feels like, start at a personal level. We were talking about encouraging partnership. If the three of us were had a business venture, I'm going to challenge and invite you to start tracking where you spend your own money. Who are you spending your money with?
Right.
Because when we start tracking that to say, oh, wow, when I want something to eat, who am I going to?
Right.
Where am I spending my money? Because where we spend our money has this ripple effect in the economy. So we're talking about building partnerships, start spending money in the places that we want to partner
build.
with and build.
That's a man, let me tell you something. If I track where all my money goes, I'm going to Netflix and all the subscriptions that take my money as soon as it hit.
I'm going to all the fast
Like
food restaurants.
I'm just gonna be honest with you, man.
They owe me.
They owe you.
Yeah, I need like a chain. I need like at least like, who would I need? Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
They owe you.
Yeah.
You know what? Chick-fil-A is a great franchise.
That is a great franchise.
Shout out to
They
Chick-fil-A.
definitely got a curve on my kids.
But yes, yeah. But you're right though. If we start paying attention to where we spend our money, man, I think we'll be a little bit more shocked than we think.
Food and bills.
Yeah.
That's why I know I need to get into development. That housing rent is the biggest one.
So check this out real quick, right? We here this is home for me. This truly is home, every sense of the word. So oftentimes we look for cultural things here. Cultural things to do that either we want to be a part of or we're most familiar with, and we say, Asheville don't really have that. Well, what happens when I start taking a look where I spend my money at? What if I were to start to shift where I spend my money and be willing to partner with somebody who's looking to invest to build that culture?
Right.
Those restaurants and those food options that I would like to see.
Right.
Now we're having to shift the needle in our own community.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you just said something. So I'm going to look at my camera.
Go
Like,
ahead.
in order to build the culture, it is going to take partnering. But it also takes when y'all come down here and move to Asheville to stay and to help build those partnerships. Because I think a big thing is that as Asheville natives, we'll find people come in and they just want to like tell us what to do versus partnering with us. And I think a lot of natives and different people who've been here a long time want to see other Black communities come in and extend that community and partnering versus just like, yeah, I'm gonna throw something up and it feel like an extraction, like
Right.
it's leaving or it's not staying here or you're not connected to the communities here. So we need to band together that's here and again promote the culture that comes here to stay here and to build it. Because one thing as a hairstylist, I find a lot of people who come in my chair are very transit. They're like coming here and they're like, yeah, but Asheville ain't got nothing to offer for me, so I'm about to be out of here in like a year or two. And I'm like, no, because you're once again depleting the numbers. You come and stay, you bring a number, but then you once again leave or move somewhere else. So I definitely think we have a lot of room to grow in order to be more family friendly and more intentional with the culture,
Well,
the different cultures.
I'll add to that though. But let's be honest though. Native Asheville,
Right.
native Asheville.
But he's being intentional.
But this is what I was gonna get. How many places can you say you never walked downtown and went into as a native?
What you mean?
Like it's been places where I walk in there like for the first time. I'm like, I've never been in this place,
Yeah,
and I've lived here.
Right.
And
Oh,
been-
literally, me and my kids
Like-
decided during the summer times we were going to be tourists in our own city.
But see, that's my thing.
Yeah.
Like that is a real thing. Like when we talk about spending local, you got to really think about it. Like
I don't know all the places. Even being born here, I try to be
Okay.
intentional, but I don't even know all the places.
are they advertised for us?
Not all the time. Not all the time. They're advertised more so for the tourists, not to.
That's okay.
not
There
to
we go.
us.
That's my point. So that's my point. Where I'm trying to go. It's like I think that's what we got to start looking into too. It's like what are we doing for the locals to
As
get our
bu-
money
as business
back
owners.
in as
Right.
business owners to get back
Right.
in the game with our locals
Right.
because I think that's what maybe a missed opportunity
Right.
is that we don't do enough of that to really promote more local
Spending.
stuff for
Right.
our locals.
Right.
I mean, we say support our businesses, right?
Right.
But I think there's and this is the word that we've been using, intentionality in making sure our locals know, hey, this is for us too.
Right.
You know,
Right. I definitely.
and I think this and part of that is
That's
the
the whole
city.
city.
That part of that is the city. Part of that is we all have to be back because remember we used to. Were you here when we had Bell Share?
I was not, but I heard.
Did you heard of it? Okay, so Bell Share was a huge small business. I mean, vendor.
Right.
I mean, from all over. I mean, it was a
Even
tourist
Goon
thing.
Bay was huge. It still
Goon Bay
happens,
was
but yeah.
But I always look about those things because it really did bring not only tourists out, but it came the locals
Right.
out. You know what I mean? And then that's when the money really was generating in our economy because it was not just the tourists; it was our locals that actually were intentional about coming out and spending our dollars inside of our city. So maybe that might be something that we're missing. Because I know I guess the world around us was saying, well, it's just too much to put on a big festival. But I'm thinking to myself, it's not about the work that goes into it. It's about the intentionality and the outcomes and the memories and the stuff that actually happened during that time.
Right.
Because
Yeah, it's
those
definitely
are the
work.
things that helps us as small business or even investors want to get back into the game and really get our local dollars back into our local businesses. So
I'd like to add something really, really quick to what you just shared, Roger. And the question that you asked, Nina, about how often she may go downtown, and the two of you are locals.
yeah,
I'm going to offer this. Avoid waiting on somebody to give you an invitation to your own home.
Right.
I agree. I agree.
That's why I did it.
You know what I mean?
Because
Oh, no,
my
we've been
daughters were
doing it.
like, we ride past
Yeah,
stuff
we've
all
been
the
doing it.
time, and I'm tired. I know that I can't probably eat local all the time because it's more expensive food than fast food restaurants are.
Facts.
You know, so, but I told them, I said, you know, once a week we need to start shout out to, I think it was Shanika Smith that started this Date My City. But I'm
Date
like,
My City.
we need to start dating our city again. We need to start going out, because the worst thing, I'm a hospitality worker at the Renaissance, and when people come up to us as tourists and they're like, where can we go? Or I hear them talking about, like, did you do that last night?
See,
I'm
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
never even heard of that. What did you do last night? Like, why wasn't I invited? So, and I agree
That's what I'm
100% that
saying.
a lot of the things that we have as businesses, we're too busy promoting them to other people instead of each other. So I definitely agree that
That's what I'm saying.
we can come together as a city and make it more locally oriented. But because I know we don't have forever and all this time with you, I would like you to hit on to our youth and to those who might want to dive into the city deeper, like you just said, development and different things like that. But our youth who's like, they don't know what to do. They're between the ages of 16 and 22. They're still at that age where they have funding to go back to school. What should they be looking to get into that will be a great economic boost for them to not just get into it here, but that could give them the opportunity to stay, live, and thrive here? Because now, as somebody who's a college graduate, but also went back and got a trade, my trade provides me my livelihood versus my college degree has given me a lot of skills, but it didn't pay the bills. My trade paid the bills.
Boy.
So
Preach.
I would like to know what you could tell, again, those who are in that area, because sometimes we get older and we're like, oh, we got to start over. We got to go back to school. So, but those who are still here right now, kind of lost and confused, like my city doesn't have nothing to offer me, but I want to live here. I don't want to move away from mom necessarily and my family to have to start up something in Texas, California, New York, Atlanta. What can they do? What can they get into that could get them through the door, to get them? And one thing too is that the bids that happen here, you mentioned, can happen on a state level, so they can be bidding for other jobs in Sanford, Wilmington, North Carolina, Greenville, North Carolina, so they can take this, and even though they might reside here, they can work here, but they can also take this business and grow. What are some of those fields and areas that we are overlooking as women and minority-owned businesses?
Yeah, I'm smiling. I so appreciate
Yeah.
that question. The demographic that you identified was 16 to 22. And I'm going to start from a very personal level. I've got a few gray hairs, if you don't see, in my beard.
We're going to edit that out.
You know what I mean? It's all good.
We got a just for men.
I welcome that.
We got a just.
I so welcome
We got a
that.
filter. We going to get rid.
I preach. I so welcome that, and I share that.
Yeah.
When I lived in Charlotte, the church I was attending, the pastor said, if you live long enough to see some gray hair, that's a blessing.
Okay.
How does that connect to what you just shared? If I go back 40 years, I had no idea that my life would be the journey that it did. I was 16 once. I was 22 once. What I'm saying is that if you're blessed to live long enough, you're going to see your 40s, and you're going to see your 50s, and you may see your 60s and your 70s. So listen to that thing that you do really, really well that maybe nobody else is doing. But it comes so easy to you. Other people look, say, how in the world do you do that? I just encourage you to listen to that gift that you've been given and be willing to do something with that. Secondly, the area that we often overlook are the trades. HVAC,
Okay.
plumbing, electrical. When I tell you that is a lucrative business and you can take that anywhere, trust and believe. Do not underestimate that. There'll be some who say, oh, that work isn't shiny and gold and it's not well respected. But the money is, the consistency is, when the market goes up and down.
Your job doesn't.
That toilet still needs to be fixed.
Hey, I fixed my toilet.
You know what I mean?
I do. I fixed
What if it
my
got any deeper than that?
What you talking about?
Like, if it got to a piping issue, you was going to call that plumber eventually.
I mean, I might YouTube University. I mean, there's ways, but I'll be honest with you.
What about your HVAC?
Look, stay on plumbing. Don't go anywhere else yet.
Go into plumbing. People
But
do not,
plumbing-
as ladies, we don't want to fix that. Go into the plumbing field.
You know what? I haven't seen a lady plumber yet.
Yeah,
That's-
I mean,
that's
and higher pay.
And I'm
Charge
just saying,
more.
I haven't seen it. That's something that might be a good little business to have a women-owned plumbing.
So to your point, I went over to AB Tech last year, and they had once a quarter they have a trades meeting.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make sure that I share that with you all. You
Please.
can share it out. But there was a plumber there who, and audience, you would be amazed at the number of plumbing businesses who are doing extremely, extremely well, but the owners have nobody to pass that business on to.
Oh yeah.
Because their children and their offspring,
Nobody wanna get into
wants
the
to
dirty
take
work.
it on. This plumber actually said to me, for every 7 plumbers that are currently retiring, there's only one person coming into the trade.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Wow.
That is significant.
That's
It's
amazing.
really good money in plumbing, though.
It really is.
really
HVAC,
is.
let your AC go out. in
I
the
had
summer.
it. Boy, I tell you what.
They get real, don't it?
Hey, look, I lost some pounds without moving.
Yeah.
Man, I'm talking about you can't breathe.
That's right.
Wow.
I stayed. Look, that was the most. Look, you COVID. I was the most. I stayed outside and just sat on my porch. I ain't never. Look, you start looking around like I like my porch.
Right.
Nighttime come, but that's when the AC feel like that's your AC is night. So I've been there. So like those trades are amazing. Shout out to AB Tech. Because they're a leader in our trades, right? So they got so many other opportunities as well. We're talking about business opportunities, but shout out to AB Tech for definitely still pushing out trades and continue those because yes, electrician, all that stuff like it's
Right.
important. And plumbing is definitely one of those. It's a messy business, but it's a very lucrative business as well.
Right.
And most jobs, I'll say that most jobs, the messier they get, the more money you're gonna make because that's just naturally
Right.
how it goes.
Right.
Unless you're a surgeon, then it could get messy in other ways, but not in a good way if you're not doing it right. But you can't YouTube that either.
Right.
Trust me, I tried it.
Yeah.
I didn't do well. But the
Go to
point
school
of it
for that.
is, man, you're right. I think that's something, especially for our young youth listeners, that really want to get into something that they can really get in now.
Right.
Carpentry
Exactly.
Right.
is
And it
another
doesn't take a
one.
long time.
Carpentry.
Yeah.
That's exactly
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean that just in itself.
That's
So I wanted to
exactly
be
right.
like a general contractor. What's the steps for that? Tell these young kids how they can become a GC.
Yeah,
That's a good question.
That is a really, really great question. So
'Cause when I look it up, I'm like, I'm too late.
the general contractor's license, and you're not too late.
Okay.
You can still get it
Okay.
done. General contractor, just so you know, what it does is it gives you the license to actually be a builder of buildings and homes and structures. And the state of North Carolina does require you to take X amount of classes, X amount of hours. You have to pass a test to get your general contractor's license. But that is an incredible opportunity to become a GC. When you look around at all the growth around the nation, not just in the 828, those are general contractors who are building up those developments and communities. And I would just say, young people, when you take a look at our communities and you see a need to say, I wish that were better. I wish we could build this. That's GC work. When you're listening, you're seeing a need in our community, I would just say, don't wait on somebody else to do it. When that need starts speaking to you, say, what can I do about that? Or I know somebody who could do that. Or if I don't know how to do it, maybe I can learn about it.
Right.
When you start listening to that and being willing to take steps, amazing things happen. And you meet amazing people along the way.
You do. You do. So I know we've hit on a lot of things today to kind of bring it back into focus, and also like what are next steps that people can take, and also what are some groups that are out there that like Black women and minorities can be a part of with the chamber. I'll let you kind of throw that one out there of when they meet and what it is. And so how can we get connected with you, and how to, like, what are our next steps when we're listening? So if you have a business out there, or if you are wanting, or you have a small business that could do some contract bidding, like, what's next steps for after hearing this? Would it be emailing you, contacting you? And what other support systems are out there that you can allude to?
Absolutely. So the first step, thank you for that question. First step is to take down my email address.
Okay.
Is M as in Mike, KIRKM as in Mike, AN at AshevilleNC.gov. That's my work email address. Please email me. I will put you on my email distribution list that Roger was talking about.
Be ready.
Yeah, be ready, because it's not just with City of Asheville opportunities.
Yeah.
I've got colleagues across the state,
Right.
Southeast, really the nation, that send me opportunities. I can get you plugged in. Whatever business you're in, I can get you connected. You want to be on my email list. Mountain BizWorks. If you don't have a relationship with Mountain BizWorks, I would highly encourage you to do it. Mountain BizWorks is almost like a one-stop shop. They offer a number of procurement and contracting classes, business classes for startups. They offer funding opportunities, a really, really great relationship to develop. One other one I would highly recommend is the Small Business Technology Development Center, SBTDC. Incredible resources around just whether you have just a concept of a business or you have an established business and you have needs. Again, developing those partnerships and relationships, and just begin to take steps. I will close with this. Look in your inner circle. Who is actually taking steps in your inner circle?
Okay.
This is not a judgment. This is a truth. Who we spend time with and invest a lot of our time and our energy and resources with, that becomes where we are. And if we want to be in a different place, begin to be in different spaces with different people. And take a look at the movement. Be in those spaces where you want to move, and you'll start to move.
Amen. Now, wait a minute. There was one that you mentioned. What about the Black Business Alliance?
The Black Business Alliance. If you have not heard about the Black Business Alliance, we had a kickoff about 3 weeks ago. Our Chamber of Commerce here in Asheville ranked #1 across the nation for a reason. Their commitment to small businesses, and in this case, specifically for Black businesses, realizing that the need is great here, that it's been missed in the past, and the Chambers want to do the right thing to take the steps to provide wraparound services and support for our Black businesses. What does that look like? There's a learning series that's going from March until, I want to say, September, October, taken from the basic foundations of having a business to the life cycle of a business, offering support, training, and understanding. I would highly encourage you to be a part of that. You can reach out to me. I will get you plugged in with the learning series. I will also get you connected to the Chamber so you can be in this space and a part of those conversations. More importantly, for them to know about you. Sometimes we come to the table and we think, oh, I'm going to get a chance to meet them. No, they're going to get a chance to meet you too. And that's important.
That's a great way of looking at it.
Yes.
And all the stuff that he's putting out here, we're going to put in our link too. So we'll have your email and everything that people can reach out under the link under this as well.
Right.
But it's a lot of information out there too. So that would be my suggestion, is just get ready for information and learn a lot. It's not like there's 3 links and those are the only 3 links. No, you're going to have a lot of information. I even got an invitation to go down to Charlotte for a business network that you sent out at one point.
Yeah.
And that was pretty cool to receive that and just know that, there's opportunities even from here to even go down to Charlotte.
Right.
And, if anybody knows Charlotte, that's the business world right there when it comes to North Carolina with banking. So definitely a great opportunity to be able to network with people that's outside of our city, outside of the 828, and also possibly partner with people from other places who are making more money to bring back to the mountains. So that's why the power of partnership is so important. So
And we didn't hit on everything today. Like
No,
we
we
didn't even
can't.
talk about the disaster relief funding
can't.
and different things like that. So if
Yeah.
you guys are interested in wanting
we
to
got to
know
bring
different
Marcus
criteria,
back. That's what it is.
would they be able to contact you about that?
You certainly can.
Okay.
You can certainly reach out to me about the Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery.
Okay.
Right.
Money there for businesses that were impacted by Helene. Please do reach out to me. I am more than glad to get you connected to those opportunities. There's movement there, so we want to make sure that you're in this space.
That's good.
To get the support that
That's
you need.
good.
Anything you want to leave our audience with? Any words? Anything?
First of all, I want to thank the both of you.
Thank you.
I
Thank
really,
you.
Thank you for coming out.
I really appreciate it. It didn't even feel like the cameras, anything was on. Just felt like we were just
For sure.
chopping it up, having a conversation.
Yeah.
I just would offer on a personal note. None of us are oblivious to all the challenges that are going on.
Yeah.
It's real. It impacts us in so many ways. I just would encourage you to respond to the moment. To respond to, if you have a vision for a business, if you see an issue in our community that you say that has gone unaddressed and we need to do something about it, I just encourage you to respond to the moment, because all of us at some point in time are going to be an ancestor. We are going to leave this life, this physical life, and we're going to move to another place. But while we're here, we're all called to do something good for a cause greater than ourselves. And we are the answer that we are looking for in these moments. And all of us can do something to respond to the moment. That would be my shit.
Oh my gosh, I got chills. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was powerful.
That is amazing.
That is.
Hey, I can talk to you at any time, man.
know.
This is natural. First of all, you got a wonderful voice.
Yes.
You know,
do got a
'cause
radio voice.
you got a radio voice.
You do. You got a
appreciate
radio
And
voice.
then, you know, like it's just you just full of knowledge, and I feel like that's why it's so natural, because you have so much knowledge and experience to share with people, and you have a voice to be able to do that. So I think
Do
that's
you
one
want
of
to
the
plug
reasons.
in personally? Because that is in your bio, you know,
Yeah,
with the
what-
interfaith
yeah.
ministry.
I am. I am an interfaith minister and counselor. So before doing this work with the city, and we were talking about it before, that's what I'm really passionate about.
Okay.
I understand what it means to be in a place of brokenness and hurt and despair and challenge. And it's important to me to not only create those spaces, but hold space as we're walking through the difficulties of life. And that does not feel like work to me. That is a big part of my calling.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for
welcome.
coming and being
Yeah,
here
thank
today.
you for being here today.
Certainly.
And thank you to everybody who's listening,
Facts.
tuning in.
Facts.
Again, contact us if you have questions, comment, like, share this to your networks. Share this to the youth. If your parents watching this, go ahead on and take this and say, look at what he's talking about. So, yeah. Thank you, 828. If you guys have any kind of interview requests or anything like that, please hit us up. And also, one resource that was not mentioned is the AB Tech Small Business Center. Shout out to them. They will also help you as well. The Carolina Small Business Development Center as well. There are a lot of resources to help take an idea to flourishing here in North Carolina. We just have to go out there and find those resources. We would love to keep this invitation extended to maybe have you back on one day, especially if
Yeah.
everybody hit us up and be like, well, we got this question, we got this question.
Right on.
Yeah.
So just to keep the door open. So
Right
this
on.
is not goodbye. Potentially see you later with Marcus Kirkman. So
Yeah.
thank
Right
you for
on.
having us.
I would love to
having
come
you
back.
on. Yeah.
Thank you all. Thank
So-
you all.
Yeah.
All right. Well, y'all, thank y'all for watching 828 Elite Podcast, your premier podcast of Western North Carolina. This is your boy, Coach Reed, and I'm, of course, here with the lovely Nina Ireland. We'll catch you later. Please don't forget to like, share. We'll catch you on Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify. Peace.